Hello and welcome. My name is Gary Baracco. I'm the Director of Product Marketing at EC Vision, and today's session is the compelling case for cloud-based supply chain solutions. Retail companies of every size are facing new challenges in today's economic climate. It's no longer business as usual, and companies need to optimize their supply chains with new technologies that provide the tools necessary to stay at the top of the leaderboard. These technology solutions enable supply chain teams to be successful through application integration, process efficiency, and data visibility. During this session, I'm going to talk about the fragile retail ecosystem that's more challenging for each of us every day, what cloud solutions are, how cloud solutions can add tremendous value to your supply chain, and help lower the cost of supply chain technology adoption by eliminating upfront capital expenses and ongoing maintenance costs typical of on-premises solutions, while still providing the benefits derived from a robust supply chain management solution through some best practices for implementing a cloud platform. But first, we have to understand why today's global scenario is tripping up so many retailer supply chains. After the 2008 economic downturn, retailers came to the realization that the supply chain of the future is not what the norm of yesteryear was. In order to understand the primary concerns companies are facing with respect to their supply chain, it's important to review what caused these concerns to rise. They include extreme fluctuations in customer orders based on poor economic conditions in major markets and diminished customer spending, volatility in fuel prices and the subsequent shifts in raw materials, and natural disasters that resulted in shipment delays and all-out breaks in some supply chains, and of course, the political unrest in countries primarily used for outsourced production. Now, even if your company isn't a retail giant, the need to take action to fine-tune your supply chain is imperative in order to stay competitive and ensure long-term continued existence. Fortunately, there are supply chain technology solutions that can help manage volatility, mitigate risk, and remain agile enough to react to the up and down economy that we all live with on a daily basis. Selecting the right technology solution is an important first step, and cloud-based solutions are proven choices for rapid return on investment with strong benefits. More and more, companies around the world are leveraging cloud solutions for everyday business-to-business operations. Understanding the definition of cloud-based technology is really important. You know, I'm often asked, is cloud just another term for software as a service or SaaS or on-demand or ASP? Well, I put together some industry quotes that really help define cloud computing and might bring some clarity. The first quote comes from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and it describes cloud technology as a model for enabling convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. Next, looking at Wikipedia's definition of cloud computing, they state that cloud computing describes computation, software, data, access, and storage services that don't require end-user knowledge of the physical location and configuration of the system that delivers the services. This parallels to the concept that really can be drawn with an electricity grid, where end users consume power resources without any necessary understanding of the components and devices in the grid that are required to provide that service. Last, in a 2009 InfoWorld article, the writers Eric Knorr and Galen Grumman state that cloud computing really is defined along these lines. Cloud computing comes into focus only when you think about what IT always needs, and that is a way to increase capacity or add capabilities on the fly without investing in a new infrastructure, training new personnel, or licensing new software. Cloud computing encompasses any subscription-based or pay-per-use service that, in real time, over the internet, extends IT's capabilities. However, cloud analyst and blogger R. Ray Wang best summarizes the many terms for this type of technology in his March 2010 article. Ray draws connections between them, more like a spider web. Hosting is like ASP. ASP is like on-demand, which really is SaaS. So hosting, ASP, SaaS, cloud, they're all the same. So really, no matter what name you affix to the technology platform that your company and your trading parties access to do business, the delivery method is what matters. And what Ray Wang states in his blog is clearly correct. All of these terms essentially mean the same thing. Cloud computing is SaaS. This means it's an application that's delivered over the internet to a user, typically accessing the information through a browser. The application provider develops a shared, scalable system that users enter via the internet. The client user doesn't need to buy, license, operate, or manage the underlying hardware, software, or networking infrastructure. More so, upgrades are performed regularly by the cloud provider. Even then, these systems are based on new technology that ensures that when companies make extensive changes to the system, customizations will automatically continue to work across all of these upgrades. Access to the cloud application is typically provided on a per-user, per-month subscription basis. So there are no upfront expenses or capital investments or long-term commitments. And applications, as I said, can be provisioned immediately and are upwardly and downwardly scalable. Cloud technology differs in its delivery method. Historically, enterprises use two different principal delivery methods. The first is on-premises. The traditional implementation of on-premises is where software is purchased and run on internally owned and managed servers. On-premises software deployments still remain a viable option for companies if you have the IT infrastructure, investment capital, and expertise to support and maintain major software applications. However, for small and mid-sized organizations or those of us who are conscious of the overhead expenses, the high capital and operating expenses associated with deployment, operations, support, customization, integration, maintenance, and upgrades are really just too great to sustain anymore. The next delivery method is the hosted solution. And in a hosted environment, the software itself physically resides at a remote data center and is operated by an expert third-party hosting provider. Users access the software's unique instance of the system over the internet, which allows them to utilize the application that's then served up by the hosting provider and eliminates the responsibility of maintaining hardware infrastructure. Well, now I hope you have more of a clear understanding of what cloud computing and technology refers to, but there's important aspects to consider during implementation that make the solution really a true value add. To gain the maximum benefits of cloud-based solutions, companies need a single cloud system that integrates functionality across the PDM, PLM, ERP, supply chain, logistics, and other existing systems. This type of platform really supports business user configuration and promotes process efficiency. The platform also delivers real-time reporting and analytics for expanded awareness and greater visibility. So what do I mean by that? Let's dig a little deeper into these three areas.